guys, happy Wednesday. I'm tired. I've been crocheting my fingers to their bones. That first sip is always so good. I can tell you, I think I did pretty good the last 4 days. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Saturday, I had a very good day. I made 9. Sunday, I only made a couple. But Sunday, I was feeling it from Friday. Like, Saturday, I was super hyped up. And Sunday, it just, like, hit me like a brick wall. And I took a long nap. Then, of course, because I did that, it messed up my sleep schedule. And I was up super late. And I am in the process of getting that back on track. So, I had to force myself to get up this morning. And at this moment, I feel a nap in my future, but I am going to try not to so I can get my sleep schedule back on track. So, other than a couple of items, I couldn't tell you what day I made what. Not that it really matters. But I do know I started Saturday off with, I was like, let me do quick and easy because I know I can get a bunch done and I need them because, well, I had 3 left. I could have gotten away without making any, but you know how it goes. But we made some of the rubber ducks or dashboard ducks, and this is a free pattern off of Instagram from Amateur Hour. I do the duck bill different than the pattern says. Pretty much everything else is the same. So I did 2 in lemon yellow, 1 in this hot pink, 1 in light blue, because I believe when I looked at the video clip, all I had left was like green and I think a peach colored one. And then I decided to try one with some tie-dye just to see. We'll see. So we did 5 rubber duckies on Saturday. And then the other thing that was on my mind, and we didn't, you know, it wasn't like ball busters in sales, but I was down to just the one, was Ninja Turtles. So I made 4 Ninja Turtles on Saturday. So those 5 ducks and 4 Ninja Turtles were my 9 that I made on Saturday. But Saturday I did 2 in red and 2 in the orange. So now I've told you guys before, I do make 2 small changes to this pattern when I do it. Instead of using a bobble stitch on the eye, I do a puff stitch. And then I add in a round of back loop only slip stitch when I change color. So when I'm going from the orange back to the green, I do a back loop only slip stitch and then start up where I left off on the pattern to complete it, just to have a nice smooth color transition. And these are about as tall as the soda can. So the ducks, I didn't show you. I know you guys have seen this before. I'm sorry. They're about that size. The rubber ducks I sell for 10. These Ninja Turtle, they are no-sew. They are quick. They are easy to make. They are enjoyable to make. And out of the Chenille Brights, I sell those for 15. Okay, so that was my 9 I did on Saturday. Sunday, I couldn't tell you what I did. It was just one of those days. But at some point during the week, I made 2 more Ninja Turtles. And that was 2 in purple. I figure The orange one has been the first one to sell, and when my one was gone, it was gone. So I should probably do 2 of each. Now, I have not made the blue one yet. I do have one already, so I would only need 1 to bring it up to 2. But I don't feel rushed or pressured to do it because that is the one color that did not sell. Then, the little Pokemon were such a good seller. I'm sorry. I am tired. It's been quite interesting around here for a few days. Yesterday just like totally threw me for a loop, and just like taking a wrench and sticking it in the spoke of the bicycle tires, and just like really threw me off yesterday. I'll tell you about that in a minute. The other thing, we sold 9 of the Pokemon on Friday, which I was starting to, get low on some anyways, because they would sell 1 here, 1 there. So I decided I needed to do the Pokemon. So I started off with the typical. I did 2 Pikachu, and don't count the ears, just look at the body size. Okay, so they are very small, and this is chenille brights. They would be super tiny and parfait chunky. But these, I do sell these for $12. So I did 2 Pikachu, and I did 2 Mew. I think this is what this one's called. And then I was like, which ones do I want to make? And I was pretty sure that I have 1 or 2 of the patterns that I haven't done yet. Not sure why, but I was trying to find them, the patterns, and I was struggling. So I went through and made the little Pokemon its own folder, because they don't come up in order. But I know that Beck Made Studios came out with some new Pokemon patterns since I bought my original ones. Plus, she gave me a starter pack, and that's what made me start buying these, because they are really good. So she has them on sale. They're like $2.56 right now for a single pattern. But I bought a package, and it was her Evolutions package. And there's like 8 of them in there, I think. Well, I only made 3 so far out of that 8. I was trying to pick the ones that were no-sew. So I did 2. I believe this one's called Umbreon. Now this one, of course, I couldn't use just the regular black eyes on because of the black yarn. So I looked up what color eyes do they have, and it says bright red. Well, I don't have any red color discs, and I feel a little bit on a time crunch, so I didn't have time to like color my own. So I used that hot pink color, dark pink color, whatever it is, that I seem to end up with a lot of those color discs. And these are 16 millimeter eyes. And I did get my eye order in from AliExpress. And boy, did I mess that up. I thought I had ordered 30 millimeter eyes, but I didn't. But I got the 30 millimeter color discs, but now I have nothing to use them with. And then I ordered 25 millimeter eyes, but didn't get the color discs for that. I'm like, what on earth? Where was my brain? But I think I get confused because it's like every time you click on something, it opens a new window and you just get lost. just get lost. Anyhow, so we did the 2 Umbreon, and then I think this one is called Flareon. Now, I did not have yellow fur, but I had some yellow little bunny. Now, to give the tail some substance, I doubled the little bunny with some yellow posh to do the tail. And I think it looks all right. It's still a little fluffy, you know, not like soft and fluffy like this is, but it's still fluffy and it's holding its shape. So doing these is where I ran into problems, because normally Chenille Brights is very soft, but every now and then you will get a skein of yarn that is really stiff. Well, I ran into a few of those this time. The yellow on the Ninja Turtles, this, it looks orange to me, but they call it hot coral. This one, my caramel, the chocolate brown. I mean, there's just like, my hands are feeling it. It's totally feeling it. But this was very easy. It was no sew. The only, well, if you call tacking the tail up sewing, then it has a little bit of sewing. But you make the ears separate. They're crocheted in the round. This is surface crocheted. This is surface crocheted. The tail is sewn in on the round. And of course, the arms and legs are bobbles. So I only did one of those because, like I said, the yarn was feeling stiff. And I do not want to trash my hands. Do not. And this one, I believe, is Leafeon. I am no Pokemon expert, I'll tell you that. I know a few of them, and yeah. But I like these colors together. Sand, chocolate, sage. And again, this was no-sew. Ears are crocheted in the round. This is surface crocheted. This is surface crocheted. And then I just tacked the tail up. So I only did one of these. And like I said, I wanted to do 2 of each. But, you know, my Wonder Woman days are long gone. And this one pattern I already had. This is Eevee. And I did have fur for this. So, again, this was a no-sew one. I would love to get the rest of them done before Friday, but that's not going to happen. But I will definitely have them all done by November 7th. Just saying. I will be able to do that. So, one Eevee. Sorry if I seem like I'm going through this quickly. Like I said, I'm very tired. I might just go back to bed. Then I bought, along with that Evolutions pattern, one other one. And then after I made it, I was like, is this a Pokemon? I had to look it up. And it is. This is... oh my gosh, I can't read my own writing. Lapras. But it's kind of like a turtle. This one was very different in making. When I make it again, I will make some changes. On her little arms and legs, you do it like a regular turtle foot, you know, make the circle, fold it in half, crochet it together. But rather than single crochet, she has you do a slip stitch. And then they're only joined in the round with one single crochet. Not a fan of that part. But it does turn out pretty cool. Took me a minute. I had to think when it came, like, you'd make the shell and set it aside. You make the legs and set them aside. Then you start with the head and you're working your way. You get to the point where you're going to add the shell to it, but it goes where you're crocheting it in the round. If I even explained that halfway right. So it was interesting how it was assembled. Now I did tack the head up because I want it to stand, and this is really top heavy. Now that could be because I am a super firm stuffer. I might have overstuffed the head so that it goes bloop, but it's kind of cool. It's different. And like I said, I had to look it up because I'm like, is this a Pokemon? I don't know. It is. Google told me that it was. Oh, gosh. Did I say how much I sold them for? I do the little Pokemon for $12. Just in case I didn't say. So I have one more thing that I made with Brights, and then I had to switch over to Parfait Chunky. Actually, I believe it was Sunday. Maybe. Could have been Saturday. No, I think it was Sunday. I saw Karen over at Yarn and Whimsy put up a YouTube short, and she was showing this blue tiger from K-pop Demon Hunters. And I'm like, I have been looking for not so complicated patterns for that stuff. And this thing was just adorable. So, you know, I hopped right on over and I bought the pattern. So when Karen showed hers, she did not put the hat on the tiger. It was in the pattern, so I went ahead and did it. Now, I will say on the first one, I was not trusting the process. I just knew everything was going to come up off center, so I tried to adjust, and I made it worse. So he's just a little wonky. But that's okay. He is still just as cute as can be. Fortunately, I had like orangish color glitter discs, so I was able to use that and not have to do eye embroidery. And the only thing you sew is the hat. These are just so cute. If I wasn't so tired, I would be like super thrilled, over the top, ecstatic about this little pattern. This pattern is by Green Frog Crochet, and it's adorable. Pretty sure I made it on Sunday. And then yesterday, before I decided I really have to switch to Parfait Chunky, I made another one. And this time I did it without adjusting anything, and everything was fine. Now she does, in the pattern, give you two options on the ears. You can either surface crochet or make them separate and sew them on. I think I did mine separate and sewed them on both of them. I know on this one I did, but I think I did that on both of them. I just think that little tongue sticking out just makes it so cute. I mean, they are adorable. Now, I have no idea what to charge for these, but considering their size and ease in making, yes, there are color changes in it, but it's so easy. Like, you don't even, like when you're doing this back part here, because you start on the back, and you know, you make a chain and you start, and then you're working around the chain. Everything's so close together you could carry the yarn, so you didn't have to cut and tie. And it's only for a couple of rounds. Then you just have like a few stitches on each side, no big deal. You crochet the tail ahead of time and it is crocheted in. Of course, the feet are bobbles. And the muzzle is bobble. And you surface crochet the tongue. Very easy. I did sew the hat on. So I might make one without the hat and see what people like better. When I saw Karen's video this morning, I was like, she showed her tiger. And I'm like, she didn't put the hat on it. Does it not wear the hat? Is that something that this designer just added? So I Googled it. And I did see some pictures with it wearing a hat. But I think it's just as cute. Like, you do not need to make the hat. They are cute. So I think, looking at these and the size and knowing how fairly easy they are, of course the first one takes the longest. I'm thinking like $15 for these. That's what's in my head. $15. And those were done out of the chenille brights in periwinkle, light blue, black, and cream. This one, I think, I don't know what yarn that was, but it was on my brights shelf. I have no idea where that came from. This is I keep calling it antique white, but it is winter white in the chenille brights. So they are two slightly different colors. But I think those are going to do well. Then I had to switch to the Parfait Chunky. I just had to. My fingers were starting to scream. They're still screaming a little bit today. So I made, in the Monday nights live with Heather, I made the swings for some car swings. So I did 3 frogs. And on this one, I can't count because the swing is a lot shorter than the other. Oh, well. So I have 3 grumpy frogs. They are your Road Rage companion. And then I did 2 yellow chicks. These are all from Jade pattern, her Water Animals pack. And then I have 2 more swings left. Obviously, the yellow chicks wouldn't look good on the yellow swing. So I do need otters. So maybe I'll make a couple of otters to put on that. So that is those. And then, still staying in Parfait Chunky, a week or so ago, probably more like 2 weeks ago, I bought a pattern and I hadn't used it yet. I was getting to it, but I just didn't get there. And I'm like, you know what? I'm getting there. I want to do it. I want to break from the restock. So I broke out the Parfait Chunky and my 5mm. And is this not just the cutest little toucan you have ever seen? Now, the hat does come off. I could sew it on. I don't think that I will. It has a little flower on the side. Now, I did glue this on so that on the inside of the hat, it didn't look ugly. The only sewing, other than the flower, is you sew the muzzle to the face. Now, this one I was making yesterday during the time that my whole world, my day, I shouldn't say my whole world, my day got turned upside down. Mama Kitty moved her kittens on Monday night sometime, and she brought them over right near the screen door that comes onto my screen porch. So I got to get a good look at the kittens, but there was only 4. And I know that there was at least 5 babies last week. So John and I searched through the ferns over where she had them to begin with, and we couldn't find anything. And I was like, I have a picture, and I'll pop it in, and I count at least 5 babies. Okay, you know, nature happens. She has 4 now. So I just happened to step outside onto the porch to see Capone, the gangster cat. He is huge. I mean, he's got long legs and this giant head. He kind of scares me a little bit. I would never, ever try to pick him up. To see him heading over towards those babies, and I tried to stop him, and I couldn't. And he snatched one of those babies and ran off with it. I started yelling. John came running outside to see what was going on. We got the kitten back, but it was too late. So now there are 3 babies. And after that, they are now inside my house. I have never, I mean, I know it happens. I know it's part of nature, but I have never witnessed that before. I mean, I've seen a dog go after a cat. I've seen a cat go after a mouse, but that just really shocked me. I was just like, I couldn't function very well after that. It took me a little bit to get over it. So, that being said, I don't know if it was that situation or if it was something in the pattern, but I got real confused. I mean, it came out okay, it worked out, but I got confused. I may have gotten lost. It just could have been the mindset. I will make it again. It was fairly simple to make. This is my Hugurumi, Hugurumi. So, and it's in Parfait Chunky, so it is kind of small in height. It is a chubby little thing. But it was fairly simple to make. She does have you sew the beak on before you stuff. I probably won't do that the next time. It just seems unnatural. Heather and I were talking about that, and that was the term we came up with, that it is unnatural. But I think it's cute. I did give it the little blushy cheeks, but I didn't make the eyebrows because there's not a lot of space up there. Like, I didn't really think it would be seen. But it's adorable. And for the size of this little guy, I'm thinking probably 20-ish. I have to think on a little more, but somewhere around the $20 range. And in this same pattern, it was a package. It came with another one. And I decided to do this one last night. I was going to quit, but I was like, oh, I got it in me for one more. So we did one more. And it is this pirate pelican. Now, I did not do the little fish to put in his mouth. The hat does come off. He's just a white bird without the hat. The hat is what makes this pattern, this little guy. I could do the fish, but I didn't do it last night. I was just like, I'm ready for bed now. This was much easier, and it's basically the same pattern, just different this and different hat. So that makes me think that it was my state of mind on the other pattern and not the pattern itself. This one, you crochet in the top beak, and the only sewing is stitching on the bottom. And I just did it across the top. I didn't like tack it or anything. I figured, it needs to be able to close its mouth up. She does give you an option on the feet Like you're supposed to do the first round and then you start decreasing, and I was just like, no. But she gives you an option to add the extra round. She says it's for beginners, but I did find it much easier to add that extra round into the feet just to have something to hang on to. So we have the Pelican, the Pirate Pelican. And again, that is from Hugurumi. And that, my friends, is everything that I made this week. In case you weren't keeping count, that was 30 items in 4 days, but they're all small. Most of them were very quick. The ducks were quick. The Ninja Turtles were quick. Obviously, these are very quick. Some of the Pokemon, a little quicker than others, but at least that particular rack is not going to be empty. So I need to go and place a yarn order. My browns are looking pretty low back there, and a couple of other colors that I need. Like if these do well and I want to make more, I need more periwinkle. And that is the recommended color in the pattern. So Green Frog Crochet used chenille brights to design it because I used the exact colors that the pattern recommended for that. And yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to edit this, and then I'll consider whether or not I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to try not to, but I probably will end up doing it. I don't know. Anyways, I will see you guys later. There is no live on Friday night because I am at market. So the next time will be Sunday for a market recap. Hopefully another good one. See you later.